So as we begin this conversation today, I want to kind of launch it really with what's happening in Polk County, Tamara, with regard to affordable housing.
Okay.
We know that the pandemic has really touched in a different way this particular topic, which was already sort of a spotlight in our nation even before pandemic, as
Correct.
it is the #1 concern that we have today. So what do you have going on in your department? Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So right now, we all were a part of the improvements or maintaining what's happening with the pandemic. So we have been providing mortgage and rental assistance to have people to maintain their homes. But in addition to that, we also were working on pilot programs in regards to new construction. So we have 4 new homes that are going to go up in the Davenport area and also in the Lakeland area. And that was something that we had started before all of this happened, and we actually had that go to the board recently in October. So those are going to be some properties. We're also working on an urban village project over in Arbondale. That's for senior population, 102 affordable housing units. The rents will be around $500 or less for that group of population. And there are other projects that we're trying to work on, but as everyone knows, that the Sadowski Trust Fund has been swept due to the current pandemic, and we had to use some of this federal dollars or CARES funding right away by December 30th. So everybody, all the local governments have this time frame that we have to get this other money out first before we can kind of focus on some of the other projects that we had planned from the past or already underway.
Right. Now, I know that that we have sort of a rehab and repair program that exists within our county. Can you tell us a little bit about that program and the importance of repairing affordable housing stock?
Yes. So a lot of the properties in Polk County they need some repairs. We have some aged population, we have a lot of veterans in the community, and we have a lot of people that are on really restricted income, so they can't afford to maintain their properties. In many situations, we're doing roof replacements, septic tanks, but if the house is in such bad repair, we actually demolish it and rebuild it for them, and we maintain and we enhance the existing affordable housing inventory that we have. And a lot of people don't realize this. Say, for example, you own a plot of land and you have a mobile home. If you own that land and the modular home, we actually can rebuild them a house as well. So we're basically making it better, because Polk County has about 21% of mobile homes, more than any other county in the state of Florida. And not to say anything bad about mobile homes, but the sustainability of those units are just less. So we're trying to maintain that, and we're trying to keep, the senior, the aged, the disabled, people that just have some financial restrictions to be able to stay in their homes.
So talk to me a little bit about the recipients of some of these homes and in your opinion, and you come from the Hillsborough County area, so you're not just Polk County, you've seen a little bit of everything. Talk to me a little bit in your experience about what you've seen in some of the residents that are receiving these incredible gifts.
Well, most of the clients are very appreciative, and some of them really think, if I just do a couple of little patches, it'll be all right. But many of these houses do not meet code requirements. There's more than just a roof, and we would be doing an injustice if we just go in there and just patch their house. Many of them I have seen, these houses just should not be lived in. And, they're trying to hold on to it. They own it. They've paid their property taxes. They own it outright. They just need a little help. And it's unfortunate that, they just don't have the means to maintain it. And over years, if you don't replace a roof, or if you don't, check those leaks, those things can really cause problems. Some of these clients, we've seen mold in these homes. Some people are, a lot of them are elderly, but they're also taking care of their children with their grandchildren, and they're all in this situation where it's just not really a livable situation. In comparison to Polk County and Hillsborough, Polk County is very different. There was the Juanitas and all of that in Hillsborough, but over here there's a lot of open land, and there's just a lot of distance in between.
Yes.
And the infrastructure is not there in some communities. Mulberry still was working on some of their infrastructure. So there are areas like Lakeland that are developed, Bartow that are developed, but there's a lot of pockets of Polk County that really have some real gains to make in regards to that. I mean, we're still dealing with a lot of wells. We do a lot of septic tanks and wells, and that really wasn't heard of in Hillsborough County. I mean, there might have been some areas, but very small.
Right.
So it's different.
Right. I would imagine it would be very different.
It is.
You know. So, well, we are definitely lucky to have you. I know that.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about the public-private partnership piece of developing affordable housing.
Correct.
I know that you sort of led a somewhat new program for Polk County recently. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that program is and how that's going to benefit our residents long-term, as well as how that benefits our county as an agency?
Okay, so in regards to these partnerships, Domain Home was the agency that was the developer that won the award. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring a mix of different kind of units of housing. It's not just the standard that we've seen. Even the inventory that we do is kind of cookie cutter. Theirs is a lot more modern, and it's the same market rate house that you or I may pay for, but they're still giving it to the affordable housing individuals. They might not have like marble countertops or some of the more luxury items, but everything else is basically going to be the same. In regards to private developments, I did a little bit of research. You know, the biggest players that we have over here is Publix, we have the hospitals, and we have a couple of other partners, but until Amazon came on board, we didn't have a lot of huge players. And so that private partnership, that public, it really is not, it wasn't there yet. So we're still trying to develop that, because when Amazon came on board, that's thousands of jobs. So where are those people going to live, right? So a lot of them are probably still commuting. They might be coming in from Hillsborough. They're probably coming in from Orange County. And some of them are technically still in the Polk County area, but if you're bringing these additional jobs, where are you housing these individuals? Right. And so that's the kind of industries, or those are the kind of businesses that we want to have conversations with, because I know they're bringing in billions of dollars, and how can we help you and also help our community? So those things we're still in development now. I've only been here for 2 years, and it does take time to develop those relationships. But even like Legoland and some of the others, they're all having a financial crisis right now. They've had to lay off people, so it's kind of hard to say, I know you're in a hardship, but can you give us a little bit of money to help with this affordable housing project? They're trying to figure their way out as well.
Right. And Cindy, if I can turn to you for just a moment, you know, this brings to my immediate thoughts in economic development when we're talking about Legoland and Amazon and some of our local big industries that have dynamic impact on our economy. One of the things that we know for sure is that they are looking for affordable housing before they even get to us. So how do you equate the need for affordable housing to what you're seeing over on the Ridge and East Polk County right now?
So local workforce is at the top of the list for site selectors. We all know that in the recruitment of industry for municipalities and for the county and for the state. So without sufficient supply of affordable housing, we can't be at a competitive advantage when we're doing our recruitment of industry. So affordable housing in my industry and economic development for the recruitment of industry, it's very important to have affordable housing here for our workforce.
Got you. Yeah, and so kind of circling back around to this, Tamara, with employment, and we're now looking at, we're 6 to 8 months away from seeing some big differences due to pandemic with regard to housing. Okay, so we know that housing is paramount to recruiting new business for economic development. We know that our low income folks have a real need for housing.
Correct.
But it's not just low income. Okay, and sometimes, you know, in the conversation of affordable housing, I see people drift to that place of affordable housing is low income. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I think there needs to be some real clarity about what the term affordable housing means.
And to be honest, some people are trying to get away from the term affordable housing because even for us, we're trying to find houses that are affordable for us.
That's right.
So that doesn't mean that it's low income housing. It really is like workforce housing. There are paramedics, there are teachers, there are a lot of individuals that are still not in Polk County's price point that are not making $40,000. Now, the average houses that I've seen in Polk County are still, I think, are no less than like $190 for like a new construction house. I mean, you might get lucky and get some down payment assistance, but still, if somebody is only making $15 an hour, $190,000 seems like a lot, and they might not even make the bank ratios to even qualify to get the house.
Yes.
So I know the Ridge and the Davenport, Haines City, it's a little bit different than the rest of Polk County. So that still has some people that are coming in from, that are working in Kissimmee or working in Orange County. That's a little bit different niche, but when you come closer to the central part of Polk County, outside of Lakeland, that bracket is not there, and there's not as much industry. Arbondale just got that Amazon, but other than that, there was nothing besides Publix. I mean, where are these places where people can generate income without having to drive long distances?
The statistics in Polk County, you know, you gave some interesting, like 20% of our county lives in modular structures or mobile homes.
Correct.
I love the idea that you can build a new home through the resources of the county. Where do those resources come from that make it possible to do that?
Okay, so the bulk of our funding from our office is state and federal funds. So we get SHIP funds, which are the Sadowski Trust funds. Normally we get them on a regular basis.
Right.
And then we also get the federal funds, the CDBG and the home funds. So they all have their own special rules, but they're all geared towards helping to improve and maintain affordable housing stock, right? So the more money we get, the more, you know, the more services that we can provide and the more clients that we can service. So in recent years, probably for the last 10 years, everybody knows the same story about the Sadowski Trust. They started sweeping it and it just constantly got swept. And this year was the first year that we were going to be fully funded. $6 million for Polk County. I had all these plans. I was ready to go. And then the pandemic. And so literally like the day before we were supposed to get our allocation on July 1st, they said, oh no, we're going to pull it back. We're just going to put it on hold, right? And so that hold is, now we're in December, we still don't know what we're gonna get. And I don't really think that we're gonna get anything for this year. I'm hopeful that we'll get half, or at least half. It would be great to get the full amount next year, but we'll see.
Yeah,
so that's where
that we do.
Yeah, that's where our funding comes from, state and federal sources.
Very good. And within your staff, I know that you are extremely mindful to keep programs moving and going. I know you have a waiting list.
Correct.
And things that for like rehab and repair and things of that nature. So I encourage our viewers to continue to seek out those programs that are available through Polk County. Get the information and you know, looking toward the future. Tamara, what do you think the future looks like for housing needs in our community specifically?
So our inventory is low, as stated, and I do believe that Polk County is growing at a pretty fast rate, and we're not keeping up with that. There needs to be a variety of different things. There needs to be more affordable apartments. There need to be single-family developments. There needs to be a variety of different things, and that includes planning. That includes us also looking at ways to incentivize it for developers so that they would be interested, because the reality is, and I'll say the word again, affordable housing. Affordable housing costs just as much as market rate housing. So how do you incentivize that for developers to come in and do that? Some of them might say, you know, I really have this great warm and fuzzy feeling in my heart that I want to help this population, but it's a business. So people, they want to make their profit points, and we have to figure out ways to help them to make what they need to get so that we can also get what we need to do to serve our population, because we already know Polk County's overall income is a little bit lower than other regions. Comparison to Hillsborough and Orange County, our average is about $48,000, and in some areas, I mean, we have people that are way lower than that. We've seen it through all the CARES funding. We actually have seen what their incomes are, and it's I didn't even know how they could even live somewhere. A lot of people are rooming
Yes.
together,
Yes.
living with families to make it. And you know, as an adult, I mean, you want to have your own. I mean, even if it's an apartment or a house, but you want to have the ability to have your own and not have to feel like you have to commingle with others just to afford your housing.
Yes, and working in community, as many of the viewers of this show, and certainly my colleagues all know that I am out in the community quite a bit working. We do not have a full understanding of how many multifamily, single-family homes are happening in our community, and the number is staggering. The number is staggering. It is what keeps our homeless rate at the level it's at. If we knew what we were really looking at,
Correct.
I think we would all grab some Kleenex and have a good cry together, because it's really a big number.
Correct. Awareness is very important. I mean, a lot of people are just not educated in the whole process, and you know, in regards to down payment, banking institutions, even Keystone, the state, that there is funding available to help you. So I think education is key, and also funding.
Absolutely, absolutely.